The waters of Black Creek reeked of rotten iron that October afternoon. Jake and Mitch, two 16-year-olds who should have been in agriculture class, stepped into the red mud, too red, at the water's edge. "Shit, that ain't mud," Mitch whispered, pushing aside the reeds with trembling hands. The body lay face down, its plaid shirt torn open across the back. Deep marks, like axe blows, carved brutal patterns into the flesh. Jake swallowed hard when he recognized the leather boots, Old Ben, the mechanic from the Phillips 66 station. Sheriff Dawson arrived 10 minutes later, his Ford F-150 kicking up dust on the dirt road. As he examined the corpse, his fingers found something cold buried in Ben's throat, a rusted nail, identical to those used in the Hargrove Barnes beams. "Call Wichita Forensics," he ordered his deputy, spitting tobacco on the ground. "And nobody breathes a word till I say so. Especially not to Old Man Hargrove." Outside Casey's General Store, where truckers stopped for coffee, the whispers had already begun. "See? Just like '03, snarled Darla the cashier, lighting a Marlboro. "The barn man's back." Lena Hartman, the new English teacher buying her pre-class donut, heard it all. She'd never seen a corpse, but that night, she dreamed of a man with a burlap sack over his head, standing in the cornfield behind her house. The worst part? He waved at her. The Black Creek Courthouse archives smelled of mildew and yellowed paper. Sheriff Dawson thumbed through files labeled Case 03-31, Barn Incident, when Lena appeared in the doorway, holding a Casey's coffee. "Thought I could help," she said, showing a 1993 newspaper article from the school library. "Farmer found decapitated near Route 17. Dawson rubbed his eyes. The cuts on Ben's body matched that victim's. And the ones from 1983. Always every 10 years. Why didn't anyone stop this before?" Lena asked. "'Cause in Black Creek," he slammed the file shut, "you either believe it's just some damn lunatic, or..." His belt radio crackled. Asterisk Sheriff, 10-54 at the Hargrove property. "It's the Tyler boy." Asterisk. The barn looked worse in daylight. Rotten planks, bloodstains on the walls, and on the floor, Tyler's baseball cap. Lena picked it up, feeling something stiff inside. A note in shaky handwriting. "He don't like folks messing with his barn." The sheriff's radio buzzed again. For a second, a hoarse voice whispered, "You're late," before cutting out. Dawson paled. The nearest transmission tower was 5 miles away. "Who the hell would do this?" Lena asked. "Someone who thinks this." He kicked a pile of old newspapers, revealing victim photos marked with dates, "is a goddamn ritual." On their way out, Lena stepped on something sharp. A rusted nail, just like the one in Ben. It was like the barn man knew they were getting close. The Kansas wind howled between trucks parked at the Black Creek Harvest Fest. Lena clutched her flannel jacket tight as she watched teens laugh by the hay bales, all except Tyler, still missing. "Stay close," Dawson murmured, hand on his holster. The scent of caramel apples and tractor fuel hung thick. Under the dim stage lights, Darla from Casey's served hot cider while whispering to farmers. "My granddaddy swore in '83 it started just like this. First Old Ben, then the disappearances." A sharp pop echoed from the fairgrounds. Everyone laughed when the balloon burst, except Lena. Between the cornstalks, something tall and thin moved in time with the music. "You see that?" She grabbed Dawson's arm. Before he could answer, the festival lights died. Someone screamed. The diesel generator had choked. In the chaos, Lena heard heavy footsteps behind her. The smell of wet earth and something else, iron, blood, filled her nose. "Sheriff." Mitch's voice came from the creek, strangled by panic. Tyler's. He's. Dawson's radio spat static before the boy finished. When the lights returned, Mitch stood alone at the cornfield's edge, holding something that made Lena gag. A severed hand, still wearing the school baseball team's wristband. The sheriff ran toward him, crushing something under his boot. Tyler's note, now blood-smeared, with fresh words scratched beneath. The game starts when the corn stands tall. In the darkened fields, the figure watched. Waiting. Dawson's flashlight swept across the Hargrove barn's decayed planks, revealing decades of dust and secrets. Lena followed, each step making the floor groan like a wounded animal. Here, she whispered, illuminating a newspaper-covered wall. Dates. All ending in 3. 1983, 1993. 2003, photos of familiar faces, old Ben, Tyler, others gone missing over the years, pinned with rusted nails. Dawson tore a yellowed page from the center. A handwritten journal entry. October 31st, 2013. The corn stands tall. They never learn. My God, Lena swallowed hard, he's planned this for years. A creak came from the loft. Something heavy dragged across the wood above. Dawson shoved Lena behind grain sacks as the first axe split the floorboards, sending wood shrapnel flying. We go now. He yanked her toward the exit. The door slammed shut before they reached it. Someone, had locked them in. Darkness. Only their breathing and footsteps. Slow. Methodical. Coming down the stairs. Lena grabbed a rusted scythe from the wall as the flashlight caught the figure in the corner. A tall man in grease-stained overalls, his face covered by a burlap sack. Moonlight glinted off the butcher's axe in his right hand. Dawson, Lena's grip slickened on the scythe. It's him. The barn man stepped forward. The axe rose. Then, sirens. Dawson exhaled as patrol car lights pierced the cracks in the walls. State police, he breathed. When Lena turned back, the figure was gone. But on the floor, one last message scrawled in dust. I return at next harvest. The sirens died as suddenly as they'd begun. The silence that followed was worse than any scream. That ain't police. Dawson pulled Lena behind empty barrels, blood soaking through his shirt from his wounded shoulder. The barn man's axe scraped dirt as he circled the barn like a wolf scenting prey. Lena's flashlight trembled over his mask, burlap stained with old brown patches. We gotta move before he... The axe thumped into the barrel behind him. Lena rolled aside, grabbing the scythe. The barn man advanced, reeking of gasoline and rotting meat. Who the hell are you? Dawson fired twice. The man staggered but didn't fall. The bullet had hit his shoulder. He should have been screaming. Instead, he laughed. A sound like metal dragged over concrete. Lena swung. Her scythe tore through his overall sleeve. Then they saw it. Burned into his flesh, star 1983 star. My God, Dawson choked. You were one of the victims? The barn man roared and threw his axe. Lena dodged, but the blade buried itself in the sheriff's leg. Lena, fire. Dawson tossed her his Zippo. She looked at the barrels. Gasoline. Her kick sent the first barrel sprawling. Fuel gushed toward the barn man as he raised a second, older axe, its blade notched with decades of marks. The lighter fell. Flames whooshed up, swallowing the barn's heart. The barn man staggered, his burning mask revealing what hadn't aged in 40 years. Run! Dawson crawled for the exit, Lena dragging him. Outside, the fire lit the fields like a beacon. Something moved within the flames, upright, still gripping its axe. Then the roof collapsed. On the distant road, real sirens finally approached. Lena collapsed in the grass, gasping. Tyler's wristband was still in her pocket. She pulled it out, finally seeing the tiny initials tooled in the leather. R.H. Robert Hargrove. The son everyone thought had died in the 1983 fire.